In the last few days of June and the first few days of July 2024, Lithuania experienced its song celebration, also known as Dainų šventė. I've had a few requests to make a video about it, but there's so much history behind it, 100 years to be precise, that I don't feel like I can do a good job discussing the whole thing as a sort of mini documentary. But what I can do is share my personal experience of it this year, which was my first ever Dainų šventė. For those who don't know about it, the song celebration is an annual event that sees choirs and folk dance groups come together from across the country. Numerous performances are held throughout the week of festivities, and there are just so many well-choreographed dances, along with choral and instrumental events. And so what was my experience like? Well, it was good, and it could have been better. But let me explain. Knowing that it was the 100th year, I was definitely expecting some big special events. And so I went to the event website really early to see what I could attend. And I must say that it's the website that kind of messed things up for me. You see, the very first thing I saw on the website and clicked on was the word tickets. As someone knowing nothing about how Dainų šventė works, I just saw 3 or 4 events, and I think one was already sold out and another one was on an inconvenient day. So I bought tickets for my wife and I to attend the concert named Varo Audra, which translates to Copper Storm. After getting tickets, I got distracted or I had something else to do, and so I kind of just went on with my day, not checking the rest of the website, which was the big mistake. Had I actually poked around a little bit, I would have learned that there were numerous free events on so many days at various locations across Vilnius. I'm half mad at myself for not realizing this, but I'm also annoyed with the website design and the fact that the tickets option is separate from the program list. Anyways, I'm just gonna suppress my anger and annoyance and carry on with telling the story of my Dainų šventė experience. And so on July 4th, my wife and I walked over to the TwinsBet Arena for the Varo Audra concert. The ticket prices for the concert seemed reasonable, and so I splurged a little and got us some really good front row seats. The concert was fantastic and an impressive show of coordination, cooperation, and choreography. I'm just going to play some of my favorite parts with sound here, but if you're not interested, skip to this time in the video for my other Dainų šventė experience. And so yeah, that was my first Dainų šventė related concert. I think most of the things in the whole celebration involve choirs and folk dancing, and so Varo Audra definitely felt like the odd thing out, that maybe was supposed to be a more modern event that allowed more Lithuanians to perform and participate. I don't know. Nonetheless, I loved it. The drummers were some of my favorite performances, and the military marching bands were entertaining as always. So it was only a day or two after this concert that I realized that there were all these other free public events that I had missed out on. In my defense, every week in my life is busy with something, even if I'm working from home. But the result is that I'm a bit isolated from the news and things that are going on in the city, even if I'm literally living like 2 or 3 kilometers away. Now, I was able to watch some things on television, well, at least LRT's live YouTube feed. In a way, if I'm trying to make myself feel better, I think this is a much better view for certain performances. Because unless you're seated up high, you don't really get to see the beautiful patterns created by the hundreds of dancers. But yes, I know, there is something special about getting to experience something live and in person, even if the view is much worse. But on the very last day of the event, I headed into the city to check out the parade of participants. It was a march of the singers and dancers from Cathedral Square to Vingus Park, which was the location of the last performance. With so many participants, the parade was really long, but it was fun to watch quite a bit of it. Each town or city was represented with a sign, and then people watching from the crowd would shout out to each group as they passed. I didn't really want to stand in one spot the entire time though, so I essentially walked the entire route as well. But I did stop periodically to see new groups pass by. It was great to hear groups singing as they walked and other groups playing their instruments. Again, here are some of the bits that I captured, and if you're not interested, skip to this part in the video to get to the conclusion. After the parade would be the grand finale with everyone flooding Vingus Park, with I think even the president of Lithuania attending. With the event starting at 9, I didn't feel like I could be there to see it myself. Instead, I wanted to be home to support my wife, who was looking after our infant son, and so I opted to watch a little bit of that event on YouTube. With most big and special events in Vilnius, I always tell myself that if I miss something one year, then I can catch it the next year. This time, it definitely felt like I missed something really unique and wonderful, and these were opportunities which will not really present themselves again for a long time. It's always those big milestones, like the 100th anniversary, that draw more performers and prompt bigger and grander performances. But, well, at least it's all recorded online if I do want to watch it and try and relive it for myself. So yeah, that was my experience of Dainų šventė 2024. It's a beautiful and impressive display of traditional Lithuanian culture. When you understand the magnitude of the shows and the number of participants, you realize just how much effort goes into this stuff, and then you appreciate it even more. So did you watch any of Dainu Šventė 2024? Either in person or on TV? Let me know by leaving a comment. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.